gentlemen, are we all here ready to fucking go? I asked y'all a question! As I reveal my giant monkey! That's not as funny as you thought it was, boy!
God, I thought he meant penis!
I swear, the only thing I hate more than weaklings... Hey! I'm speaking, soldier! Don't fucking speak unless you're smoking fucking dirt! What we're gonna do is we're gonna flare with
the talk show at the end of the week.
Space is big.
Star Citizen Base.
It's really big.
Round Table.
And hello, I see a gray camera.
I think it's a post-it note.
Is it? Oh, really? Tio's doing that now as well? All right, so, oh, there we go. Hello, welcome to the...
I forgot all about that.
Yeah, realized there we had cameras, that's right.
All the shit we could have gotten set up ahead of time.
Oh God, phone calls.
Phone calls. It happens.
Right when we start the show, damn it, what are you doing? Welcome to the show, everybody. It's where we get called right before the show starts. Thought it was foggy over there. Well, it actually, I guess it is kind of, because it's been raining. It's really humid right now, but wouldn't surprise me if it's foggy over there as well. So welcome to the round table here this Sunday show where we talk Star Citizen and we discuss things. We discuss salt, we discuss sugar, but nice things as well, and do that with us here. You prefer the red chair, we hamster? It's like you and that thing.
Yeah. The angle on the camera is different this time. I'm not sure. Oh, here we go. Now we gotta fix everything.
He wasn't ready yet. Yeah, right.
Okay, we're getting there.
It's getting there.
Life is complicated right at the moment, so whatever. Give us a break.
Is my streamer mode on? No. So I'll make sure I don't have any notifications.
Bing!
Just so we know, I'm getting people on my door in about 5 minutes or less.
Wow. At this late?
Are they bringing you food?
They better have pizza.
Oh, then they're no good.
No food, nothing good for me.
No strippers?
No strippers.
You're taking your computers. Or your Star Citizenships. They're like...
Were those the "can you fix this for me now" people? And they're like, dude, I'll just drop it off and fix it when you can.
Here's my computer.
No comment.
Right. Okay. Base Nana. Okay. Is that still better Twitch TV? I guess. I've never looked at that. Anyway.
At better TV or whatever the fuck it is. Yeah.
It's the NSA rating the only. We don't know. Doesn't matter anyway.
In Norway, no, because they don't have an NSA. They have a different security administration, and they would just Gestapo.
That cooperates with NSA.
Oh, TO is the NSA. That's funny. NATO, yeah, they cooperate. All right. Welcome to the politics version of the Star Citizen Base Roundtable.
Yeah,
since nothing happened in Star Citizen this week.
No stuff did happen. It's
PTU.
Oh, it's still PTU. Yeah,
3.1.4 H or I or something of that nature. You don't know because you don't play the PTU. I was playing last night with Zeus for a few hours.
I heard. I was there for the beginning.
The Gravlev tech is starting to come together now. It's not perfect, but
it's not shooting you into space anymore.
The Dragonfly is fucking really good.
There was a whole section about that.
Yeah. Around
calling
the
all
verse,
devs.
Calling all devs. Yep.
But it's still just.
He's at home working on it. That guy. Did you get that?
We're working on it. Yeah. But it's yeah.
I need that job. sit at home, drink my own coffee, work on it a couple hours, take a nap, work on it a couple hours, take another nap.
So it looked like it was really late though. When,
watch some
Jared
porn.
Oh
him. Yeah. Well, John Pritchard is not in Los Angeles, I don't think.
I
think he's out of the Austin. No, well, he might be over there now, but I think he's in the Austin. He's out of the Austin office, if I'm not mistaken. And Jared was calling him from home. So, you know, that's like whatever the hell. He said he was doing the rest of the show in his pajamas, which is funny. That's dedication.
Okay, well,
they don't want to hear me vape, so.
Oh yeah, well, it's sometimes these shows just come down to a single conclusion. Is like, yeah, we know, we're working on it. That's pretty much you can say about a lot of things. Like,
doesn't it all come back to that quote from Chris? No shit.
No shit. We know it's not working.
We know it's not working.
We know it's broken. No shit. We're working on it, but yeah. At least for that, it's rather sooner than later. They'll be fixed, or at least working better.
We Hamster said John Pritchard is now in Manchester, so if he was calling him after hours in LA, that's crazy, like early butt-ass morning. I wouldn't have taken his fucking call.
Okay, people on the door. Be right back.
Okay, we'll be here. Oh, the phone's ringing again, too.
What great timing that.
Yeah. This is the professional version of the Star Citizen Base Round Table right here. We're all set and ready to go.
Totally, Pegasus comes out of hibernation. I was telling him, like, join the freaking show and talk about that.
Oh yeah.
It's
It is hell, Dismarius, when you're popular. People want things.
On that other news, though, wasn't that May 11th that the sale started for everybody? At least when it comes to the Hercules. Well, I see this weird stuff going around. It's probably something for the salt block anyway, but I mean, we've done that before, haven't we? Like last week? LTI drama? I don't know.
Oh, yeah. You just sprinkle it in. Yeah, it looks like it on the 11th, 154,544. On the 12th, which was yesterday, 169,094. So you can see, and it's the funding timeline.
Daily?
You can see where the concierge happened, and it was in the 300,000s for a couple days until everybody managed to drain their bank accounts for a week or two, and then now this sale dropped, so this will last for a couple days.
I did not get one. It's not.
No.
At this point in the time, it's not really about getting everything anymore. It never was really. I mean, I think I watched Board Gamer's video on it too. It's like you don't want to buy every ship. Just, and you know, the buying ships shouldn't be giving you an advantage in terms of how much ahead you can be when the game launches live. It's never going to be like that anyway. And some people might think that, oh yes, I have this ship now, I can start off being mining big ass. I have an Orion in my hangar, I can start off right away mining big ass asteroids. No, you can't. And I hope not. We don't know how exactly they will make sure that doesn't happen, but it's said, and I'm pretty sure it will be like that anyway, because it's reasonable. So you're still gonna have to grind. Well, let's say grind. It's gonna be grind anyway, I guess. But you're still gonna have to.
All games are kind of a grind.
Yeah, right? You're still gonna have to do stuff to get to a level where you can even do stuff with the bigger ships that you bought in pre-sale, concept sale, whatever. So
Yeah, but I wouldn't begrudge anybody for fucking buying chips, you know, fund the game.
Yeah.
If you got the money, as long as you're not like mortgaging your children's future or like stealing from your mother's safe or something crazy like that to buy these fucking chips. If you got the money, buy the chips. Help the game. Fuck it.
Well, that's what most of the arguments come from anyway. It's like, yeah, you don't have to buy anything, but you know, they want to spur up sales as much as they can.
Yeah, I don't know how I know that the LTI thing that we talked about last week with the LTI being on new cash sales only has really got a lot of people fucking flipped out. So whatever. I was kind of agitated by it at the moment, but it is what it is. And I'm obviously not the one making $300,000 in a day. So I guess I don't have really good advice for CIG on how to run their fucking business. I think, you know, some of those points like we talked about in the past about LTI for all and just, you know, give fucking lifetime insurance for every ship until the game goes into beta or something stupid like that. Just make it simple for new backers. Fuck all this, you know, 6 month, 1 year, 2 year, 5 year lifetime insurance bullshit. And people come in and they're like, I don't even know what the fuck's going on. No. What am I supposed to do?
There were some people that even said like I wish they phased it out 5 years ago, LTI, you know, instead of because I think back then they catered towards some of the backers that were requesting. Wasn't it like, yeah, it was sort of a community request that they brought LTI back, but I mean they wanted it, but did they need it was another maybe thing. And you know, at some point you wish that they just didn't do that at all, and they had previously phased out LTI to make it go away completely.
Right, it's a marketing strategy, and you get that, but it's an irrelevant strategy because last year was the 5th year anniversary, right? 60 months insurance. If this is in fact still going to be played time, you will never fucking burn through it in your lifetime. Unless you're like a Chinese AUEC or UEC farmer, you will not be on the game that much. There's no fucking way. So 5 year insurance is LTI. So
2 years is LTI.
You know what I'm saying? So what difference does it make at this point? It's a stupid argument and people are just crazy. And I'll tell you what, I'm crazy too, because I won't own a ship if it doesn't have LTI. And I don't know why. It's probably some fucking Chris Roberts, like psychedelic mind control via the internet through their videos that makes me think that, oh, you got to have LTI just like everybody else.
You know what it's called?
What is it?
Experience. Just because somebody, I was about to say something I'm not supposed to say, though. Somebody says that LTI doesn't matter. It clearly matters in some aspect. Until they actually give LTI to everyone, LTI matters, and they have to have milk cows in the game, so there will be a money drain. Now, does it matter in any other aspect? You know, does it matter versus a 6 months insurance? No, 60 months insurance? No, it doesn't. 48 months? I don't think so. But for a 1 year or 6 months, it might. It's just that ease of mind. Whenever if you like, Junto has a few ships, and I have, you know, relatively few ships. For us, it's about which ship has insurance, which ship doesn't have insurance, and LTI is just I don't have to worry about it. I know these are my basic ships that I start with. Everything I get later, I have to worry about. But these ships are my starting ships. These ships, I don't have to worry about in terms of the hull and whatever weapons and engines and components that comes with the basic ship.
Yeah, but just as, you know, a huge broad stroke, right? if we're coming up on the 6th-year anniversary this year, are they going to do 72 months insurance?
They might.
They
Okay.
might, but it's
So,
like we know that it doesn't
Just
really
like with the
matter.
60-month, right? But with the 60-month, what you saw people doing was melting all their non-LTI shit and buying chips with 60-month insurance. That's if you were participating in the game at that level, you know, all this crazy, you know, community meta bullshit that we got going on here. That's what you did. If you had a 6-month insurance M50, you melted it and you bought the 60-month insurance for the same money with credit. And you had theoretical lifetime insurance. So it makes it all completely irrelevant. Which is why the fuck are we even talking about it now? Because it really has made it, they have made it irrelevant.
Well, look at it this way. They have made it irrelevant. They can also make it relevant again.
Well, they
relevant.
keep making it relevant by
yeah.
telling you have to pay cash to get it.
Yeah, but look at it this way.
It's like a bad relationship. You can
Yeah,
have it.
look
You
at
want
it.
it? You want some? No, you can't have it. Don't touch. That's rape.
Right, Dave? Yeah, it would be fine if they removed it completely.
But imagine that they say that, well, it wasn't in-game time. It was somebody misspoke, you know, X amount of years ago, which is a valid point. And they will say, no, it's real lifetime. It's 6 years real lifetime. It's 4 years real lifetime. It's 2 years, 1 year, 6 months real life time. So as you buy the insurance, it just starts. It runs out. Or it's actual in-game clock time, which is more feasible, that they will say. And suddenly time is not running. It's only when you use it, perhaps, but time is now running at a day is what, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, etc. See what I mean? So there's many aspects into this, and to say that it's set in stone now based on the history of CIG is
Nothing is
like,
set in stone. Yeah.
It's like Junta does.
LTE is some sort of badge collecting thing. So yeah, so if it's some sort of collection item, then it still doesn't matter if it's removed, because then the people who still have it will still feel special, and it's just that nobody can get it anymore.
Well, they specifically said that it would be a played time. Somebody said that
Ben
somewhere.
said-
I
said
remember
that, yeah.
it being said. Okay, but like T.O. said, is it played real lifetime or is it played expedited game time? Because then you
Oh,
lose
right. Yeah.
what, like 80%, right?
Yeah, but it was still only
So-
applied to when you're flying that ship, right?
Does it?
No.
No,
In-game
when
time.
you're playing, all your LTI clocks would be
all
ticking.
the LTI clocks.
I would think so, yes.
Not LTI,
Yes.
all your insurance clocks will be taken. Everything
Right,
you
yeah,
paid
all the
for
insurance.
will be taken.
It's still reasonable. I don't.
But then we come
Balancing.
back to the whole thing. It only covers the hull.
No, the hull
So
and the
the
engines
stock
and
weapon.
the weapons,
Stop loading.
stock
Yeah.
equipment, basically.
So, and that's not going to stay. That's all going to have to be upgraded at some point, you would think, because that's part of the like whole intricate nature of the game mechanics is get better power plants, get better cooling, get better weapons, blah, blah, blah. Yes, your
But it's-
LTI
it's-
clock is ticking. It's time to breed.
But it might be a meta in the game for those who like to play their, let's call them shadow accounts. To go, I'm a bad guy in my main org, but I really like to be a good guy sometimes and be a bounty hunter hunting the bad guys, so I can eliminate some of my competition, etc. All that stuff, good stuff.
Speaking of
And
LTI,
at that point, and in this point, just let me finish it.
Mhm.
In that point, it will be what will be meta. What can you afford to lose quickly, just for fun, just to shoot in an hour of pure action? Is this going to be a top spec ship that's going to cost you a lot of the in-game time to get a top spec ship, or is it going to be that ship that you can rinse and repeat? There's a meta to it.
Sure. There's a
Yes,
fucking
I know.
meta to everything. Speaking of LTI,
Well, speaking of LTI, I just threw up a Discord giveaway on our Discord server. With a Origin 125A standalone ship with LTI, because well, actually, to make it giftable, it had to be purchased with real money anyway. But that sale still had LTI even on like a credit bought versions of the ship, right? All of them. That was the change that they made with the latest sale, in case you weren't.
No, I think the 100 series was the first time that they introduced cash for LTI. I'm pretty sure, because I remember that's when I started I'm pretty sure that's when I started getting pissed off about it, because it didn't make sense.
All right, yeah, that's right. Because I have a version that I bought with store credit, and it only has 6 months. I thought someone said that was one.
Yeah, I thought it was that one. Yeah.
No.
So I CCU'd a couple of Auroras.
Oh, that wasn't the first, right?
And the CCU keeps the package LTI, but
oh, then I should not give away the ship anyway, because then I won't have LTI.
It's very valuable.
I need to swap it over, but I can't give away the other one. So, nah, who cares? I don't care. Go join the giveaway. You can. There's a giveaway channel in our Discord server. It's really easy. You just click a freaking button and you're in the draw.
Yeah, so click the fucking button. And yes, Dave, the 100 series announcement and the style of the 100 made me think more to appreciate what's coming with the 300, because the 100 it's sharp. It's pretty sharp. I like it. It's cool. If the 300 is a bigger version, following the same style guide with the same aesthetics, bing, you've got mail.
Sake. I'll be right back. Or my minute.
You might not be back.
Turn knobs.
Clicking buttons is hard.
Are people still thinking LTI is valuable? It's more about the consistency, that there is no consistency, right? I mean, the fact about there is no consistency in the whole thing anymore. They just, like, it's either LTI with everything concept sale, now it's not. And some people still, you know, it's also about, I think it's also about the fact that money that you had already spent cannot be, you know, it would be odd if that loses value, that because of you sticking it into the game like years before, and because they change all this stuff, it becomes worth more or less, you know. That's the deal with it too. But what you value the money that you put into the game.
Well, and I think that's where the overarching negative discourse comes from, is that there's real life dollars tied to that shit. And okay, CIG has said a billion times LTI isn't a big deal. But what does that even mean? What is not a big deal? What's a big deal to you might be a huge deal to me.
Well, in fact, you know, saying that already changed the whole premise of it and the value in it. But I guess back then ship sales weren't as expensive as they are right now. So
well, and that's true.
It's changed. It always changes.
And I understand the change within the game development itself, but to convince people to spend money on this project using LTI as a marketing tool, because that's what it was. It was a marketing gimmick. That's fine. But you have to maintain some level of consistency throughout the funding, you know, because the people that spent money 4 years ago, you know, the people that spent money in 2012, 2013 were pissed off when they started reintroducing LTI on concept sales because that was supposed to be an original backer exclusive perk. Remember that shit? So
I wasn't around back then, but
now if you look at it from a certain point of view, you tricked me into buying this shit because I was supposed to get something that made me special.
Right. So yeah. But that is also part of the process of the new CIG. They becoming more corporate, which means that the stuff is going to be less, personal, and it means that they're going to just do things with the hope of results and more sales. And
oh yeah, it's all about
which might be less. It's just a little bit more corporate and a little bit less personal, and they can't satisfy everyone. It's becoming less and less. It's becoming less and less. Normal to just be able to satisfy everyone because you can't anyway.
Here, Dave.
What the hell is that? Wing Commander? Chairman's Club? What did you get?
This is the thing that they just allowed you to go to the website and say, would you like this certificate, whatever the fuck it is. It says, the Chairman's Club all shall bear witness that upon this day, 29/47/12/17, the Chairman's Club hereby bestows upon Junta the honorary rank of Wing Commander. Now, all these ranks, because people are posting this shit all over social media, right? They're all based on the dollar amount pledged and blah, blah, blah. And it says, it is with great pride that this certificate is awarded in celebration of the significant contributions that the recipient has made to the enrichment of the community and to signify that there are well and truly deserving of this honor granted to them by the Chairman's Club.
Honor.
And then it's signed by Chris, Aaron, Sandy, and Ortwin. So I'm going to frame it and I'm going to put it up here. And then I'm going to put this guy somewhere up there. And then this one's heavy. Then I'm going to put this guy somewhere up. Well, that's
that
like
one?
a mirror though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little shiny. I don't know how I'm going to deal with that because then you can see like the whole rest of
everyone
my room.
coming into the room. Yeah.
You can see all my garbage. Maybe I'll just stick with the green screen. Yeah, and I have a couple more. I got the Gamescom one. You know how fucking expensive fucking poster frames are?
Yeah.
For the 24x36 poster frames are like freaking $50-$60. That's such a waste.
Piece of paper in it is worth nothing.
I know, right?
Well, we bought it anyway. Yeah, no, you give people concierge status, which allows them to buy more stuff. It's kind of weird, but yeah, okay. I don't care. Like I said before, I don't care what people do with their money, though.
Yeah, but it's another marketing ploy to get inside your head to make you feel like you're special, which then in turn makes you more apt to open your wallet to new things because CIG really appreciates me because I'm a fucking concierge. So I get access.
I just wonder, like, if this results to community outrage, well, not outrage, it's probably just a minor group anyway that has this problem. But I mean, if it comes this more often, then they might just have to use other tactics to get people to buy stuff instead of all this weird stuff. I don't know how, but I mean, there's got to be different ways. Well, probably is paying marketers to do it for you, but they don't have that money. I don't think. Marketing department.
Do they still? Sandy, remember? Was it last year? Last year, 2 years ago, something like that. Sandy was training a girl in the UK for the market because Sandy was the marketing director.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And what does it say on here? information director. Sandy Gardner is the information director. Chris Roberts is the chairman. Aaron Roberts is the treasurer. Can he be trusted?
I don't know what that means.
I don't know. Sandy Gardner is the information director, and Ortwin Fryermuth is the lead advisor. That's how they titled themselves on this document. Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't disagree, JJ. People do want more ways to donate. People, have no problem throwing money at the project if they have the extra money to throw at the project.
I think
I've obviously got a couple dollars into the project.
Would it just be a result of the fact that there is less influx from new people, and therefore they need to make some sort of a plan to have existing backers throw more money at the screen instead?
Well, that's part of it, I think, but think about this too. Humans by nature are generally competitive, right? So if there is a way for the new guy to catch up to somebody else who thinks they're special, like
that's better.
Then they'll be more apt to go, oh yeah, that's great. I'll here's $1,000. Here's whatever, something. Imagine if they offered tickets to visit the studios. Yeah,
they do. I think I just saw at the RSI main page there was a whole photo album of a concierge event where they invited
but they didn't
a whole
charge
bunch
those
of
people to go, right? I don't know. Did they?
They had a freaking dinner with all of them and a Q&A.
Maybe they charged for it.
That must have cost money.
I better not have paid for that. I better not have fucking paid for someone else to eat. That's not what I fucking backed this game for.
Right. Yes, they did, as in the backers paid money.
If you're getting food and stuff, I would assume that...
No, because I saw the pics. They had a whole banquet and so...
But just your general studio tours where you can, call them up and say, I'd just like to, I'm a backer, blah, blah, blah. I'd like to stop by. They just walk them around and stuff. But yeah, that makes sense. Okay. I'm off the ledge now.
Time for music break anyway.
Okay. When,
we have our questions running, right? Yeah.
Yeah. When we come back, I'd like to discuss the video that Games put out with. Did you watch that one? With Butthurt or whatever his name is, Booth something. Booth. I don't remember.
Butcha? I don't know.
Yeah, some shit like that. Butcha, who says that he was an original investor.
VC.
Yeah.
Well, we'll come back to that. In the meantime, you can submit questions with the question in square brackets format, like we always do. Post your question after putting that thing in front of it, and then they'll get submitted. It's really easy. It's probably better to do it by text there. But until then, we'll just go to music break, and we'll be right back for more of this.
Maybe Keo will be back by then. Who knows?
Maybe. And welcome back to the Star Citizen Base Round Table here. Tio's still not back. Look at that. Nice chair. Oh, we have to prefer the chair anyway. And no, I'm not going to do that chicken song. You probably don't know what I'm talking about. You haven't watched the Eurovision Song Festival. It's just dumb every year. But at least most songs are dumb. And there was one that I just played, the first one from was it Norway? And he participated before, and I guess he could have won this one again, at least when it comes to the quality of the song. But he didn't even get close.
Really?
Yeah, it's more of the more crazy your act is, and the more Like it comes to originality, but also just like crazy, funny, and you know, you can get the public vote along as well, and that's how you win. So you know, the most weird songs win that way, which in this case happened. Just
like we were talking over the music during the break while we were just chatting in the back. Yeah, it reminded me of that late 80s, early 90s Prince and the Power Generation movement with Morris Day and Apollonia 6
that was
and
Mark
Sheila E.
Ronson.
and shit like that. Yeah.
Well,
But so it didn't seem all that original. It really sounded like something that came out of that era of music. So apparently Europe is a little behind American trends in music. The next you're gonna get this like weird ass gangster. You got gangster rap and shit up in there. They run around bumping, talking about killing cops and shit. Fuck the police. No, none of that music. At least not in your neighborhood, because you guys are all listening to fucking Bach.
Mm-hmm.
Got speakers
That's
up on the roof,
here, man.
blasting fucking Beethoven. Yeah, it's good though. Keeps you clean.
What the hell? Okay.
NWA. I can't say what it means, because that would make me a racist.
Star Citizen Round Table.
So
is this show?
There's this cat, right?
Oh, hi.
That's doing this series. His name is Bootcha, Bootcha, and he has this series called Sunk Cost Galaxy, which is like a term used in financial markets.
It's a fallacy.
When you start throwing money at a project to force it to succeed, when you throw money at anything, business, it doesn't have to be an investment, it's anything, right? If your business is struggling or if an employee is unhappy or something, you throw money at a problem hoping the problem corrects itself, right? That's sunk cost. So he was sat in a 26-minute and 50-second interview with TheGames yesterday. Yes. And he has some pretty decent videos. A couple of them now have gone off the rails. Like his last video prior to that from a week ago was, is Star Citizen an investment? That's an interesting question. From a personal perspective, does anybody consider the money that they put into the project an investment? Well, in the traditional sense, no. Do I expect a return of a financial return? Because generally that's what you associate an investment with, right?
Done it, though.
Right, but
this
is
charity.
More of an investment in entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't have the same principles as a financial investment, but it is an investment nonetheless. You know, I expect to get a return of hopefully, you know, hundreds, if not thousands of hours of entertainment value from it in the future.
The difference here, though, is that everybody, you know, you can have tons of money in it, or you can have just $40. Everybody, in the end, everybody just gets the same game. So amount doesn't matter.
So, anyways, this interview, I sat through the 26 minutes and 50 seconds of this discussion that TheGames had with Bootcha, and he claims to have had insider access to Chris Roberts and the Star Citizen project prior to the Kickstarter launching. His claim is that he was working with Ben Lesnick on the WC3, Wing Commander 3, whatever the hell they got going on. They have like some sort of community thing, forums, or I'm not exactly sure. I'm not into that. But they had like some community going on that Ben Lesnick was one of the, whatever the hell his title was there. He was running the show or some shit with the Wing Commander 3 community. So this guy was in on that, allegedly, right? Because I watched this fucking video, and his story is that you know, oh yeah, they invited me to go have a private dinner with Chris Roberts, and I had a blank check in my pocket ready to write a check based on the talks that he had with people, and Chris Roberts told him on the project, and he wrote Chris an undisclosed a check for an undisclosed amount of money, which made him a, what do they call it? A venture capitalist investing in Star Citizen from the get-go.
Venture capitalist, yeah.
Yeah.
That's in his title, VC. I didn't actually know what it was at first. Like, huh?
Yeah. So listening to him speak through the duration of this almost 30-minute interview, I'm pretty good with reading people. Been doing it for a long time. I think he's full of shit. How do you prove or disprove anything on the internet? Because I could be a fucking brain surgeon. You don't know.
He says, right?
I could just come on the internet every Sunday and act like a complete fucking ass bag because my life as a brain surgeon is so fucking stressful that I'm trying not to kill people, that I just want to come on the internet and tell all of you how fucking stupid you are. It could be, right? You don't fucking know. You don't know me. So I don't know this guy at all. He could be a fucking billionaire. He could be Elon Musk's fucking cousin for all I know. I don't fucking know. But just listening to him talk.
Bill Gates.
He just seemed full of shit to me. Seemed like he had generated this fallacy in his head and he's out on the internet like pushing it. But yeah, and I don't know if Chris Roberts was a used car salesman. That was one that caught me off guard. Was Chris Roberts actually a used car salesman? Because that was the story that this guy is pushing in between Chris's failed producer director career in Hollywood. He got blacklisted from doing anything in Hollywood because Wing Commander 3 sucked so bad, which is funny because Wing Commander came out and then there were 4 other movies that proceeded throughout the duration of the 2000s that Chris Roberts directed / produced. So Lord of War comes to mind.
Yeah, which was a good movie.
So I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't know how much investigation Games did into this character, and other than his series on the.
Didn't you just say the word a character? He's playing a character. He's absolutely full of shit.
All right, so I'm not the only one then that thinks that this guy is full of shit. Okay, I feel a lot better about myself at this point in time. That's good.
Then again, I get something tingling back in here, weird feeling when I listen to the Gains as well. So,
well, he's a sensationalist and he's trying to build his channel. So that's how you build your channel, right? There's a bunch of fucking people on YouTube that are like crazy, got huge volumes of subscribers and views and stuff, and they're full of shit and they're just going crazy, and people like it because it's entertainment and you can't take it fucking seriously because it's just that. It's like watching a movie, except for it's
entertainment,
right? So it's not like we're talking about news. But I thought it was interesting, and I don't know.
But look at it this way. The only reason I had a look at it for a brief few minutes, that's all it took to, and see that this guy is full of shit with the Gains, is that we need to have something to talk about this show, otherwise I wouldn't even listen to. And that's only because Rellim keeps posting these bloody links everywhere.
I collect drama and then I copy paste it to your channel so you can.
Into the channel where I can't ignore it because it pops up as a message. You have mail.
I wanted to make a crew chat, so.
So I thought that was funny. I wonder, how I guess it doesn't, any publicity is good publicity. They've always said this, right? But like, as far as a YouTuber that just brings on random people based on other shit that they've done on YouTube and treats them like their story is automatically accurate, how damaging could that be for anybody long term?
Both on and off. It's the YouTube is so full of information that it's nothing is really that damaging or scandalous anymore. It has to be very specific into the narrative of what you can and cannot do, and this is just, there's nothing really bad there, if you know what I mean. It's just a lot of opinions about Chris Roberts.
Sure, it really reminded me of like a Derek Smart rant a little bit. And then I don't know if you read the comments, but I was the first person to comment on it, and I said, "Fuck, I feel like I just watched a CNN interview," because that's what it felt like.
So this is something
an undisclosed source, this and that was mentioned a couple times in that video. It's crazy.
Source, source fact and fact checking and relevancy. I mean, did you know that this guy, when he was in his teenager, to subsidize his study, he worked at McDonald's, or he was pushing a tray, dishwasher.
Man, everyone came from somewhere.
Yeah, but if you worked in a used car lot, it's like, it doesn't matter. All that information is just put a dramatic spin on it.
It's
so
fuel.
It has no relevance. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Everybody comes from that same place. Absolutely everybody comes from the same place when we start. So it's pointless. This is why I didn't watch the whole interview, because it's, when there's so much information to be had on the internet, why the fuck do you waste time listening to nonsense?
Because it gives me something to talk about on this fucking show.
Because we're just like the games, we have to.
Yeah. But Dave, I do not use undisclosed sources. I tell you every time if I have information exactly where the fuck I got it from, so you can go look for yourself. So never will I use an undisclosed source. And if you come to me and tell me you have super secret, top secret information, you know what you don't do? You don't fucking talk about it publicly. Hey, I got a secret. Hello, Fence. And then the next thing you do is make a video about it on YouTube about somebody's secret.
It's like this. I have a super secret job. I work for the CIA.
Don't tell anybody.
Don't tell anybody.
Oh shit! It's the yellow Post-it. The screen's just got all fucked up. She just does what she wants. It doesn't fucking matter. This one.
Uh-oh.
He's like invading your space. That is so weird.
Where's my ham?
Can you crush her skull with it? Roar!
Hi. I don't hear you.
Nope, you're still on like PUBG streaming setup.
It's a mic on your right.
The Wike?
Mike. That mic, yeah. Nope. Not working.
It was.
Oh, there.
She's just so far away. Get in the mic.
Which button is it?
I don't know. What button is it?
There you go. Hi.
Hi.
She was late because she was smoking weed.
I was not smoking. This is how
She's like, I was so big that I had to take a shower. It didn't help, man. Aw.
Allergies, goddammit. I was a house full of cats, and then we were outside, which I had pollen allergies. So whichever location I was at, I was surrounded by allergens. Ugh. And I took like Mucinex for the first time, and I combined it with Claritin, and that wasn't really working. Ugh.
Sudafed is still the best, dude.
When does that really work anyway?
I don't know.
Histamine blockers. Mucinex is completely different. I wouldn't fucking take that shit.
I took a Sudafed and Mucinex combination.
Oh, that should work.
Yeah. But
And then go like that.
Have we technically had 2 salty blocks now?
No, I wasn't being salty. It's just information. I just thought the guy was full of shit just watching the video. And it amazes me that when something is successful that people get so butthurt over it that they attack it. Like SpaceX is a really good example of that, that people can really grasp. SpaceX is fucking successful, right? Tesla has some financial issues because of production issues and shit, but Tesla, given enough time, will be a successful car company. But everybody shits on those 2 companies. Why? Why the fuck would you do? Tesla innovates for the future. SpaceX innovates for the future. I mean,
Yeah,
who else landed a fucking rocket?
100
No one.
years,
No one in
it'll be
history.
Then they'll not, well, maybe even 50 years, there'll only be electrical cars. And they'll be like, back then Tesla was the company that moved that whole market forward.
Yes.
They started it.
But during the meantime, he gets shit on like nobody's business. And it's the same thing with Star Citizen, innovating past the publisher era that most of us backed this game to get the fuck away from shit like EA crap games that they just reskin and put out every fucking year.
Yeah, because I thought about that actually earlier today too, because there's so many examples where nowadays games release, and because of the fact that it's all online and you can quickly patch things, results in the fact that games release in a shittier state than they were before. Back then you had ROMs, you had to go to the store and buy a DVD or a CD or floppy disk with a game that was shipped, and that game had to be super stable because they couldn't just fix it. Oh look, we have another patch for the game. You just go back to the store and get your update. It's not easy. So when even Kingdom Come Deliverance I've played, and I think even for that example, the devs actually, I think one of the guys actually already said, like, I wished we could have worked on it a little bit more before releasing it. And apparently, it struck me as like, okay, so apparently he wished he could have worked more in the game before releasing it, but he couldn't for some reason.
Funding.
Yeah, deadline fundings, contracts, whatever.
Well, they didn't have the same funding model as CIG has.
No.
So this is something that I agree with a lot of these critics on, and I've said it before, and I was quoted for saying, it is all of us that enabled Chris Roberts to continue perpetuating this endless development cycle, and it's true. And somebody on Twitter like blasted me for saying it, and I said that's a fucking exact quote. I'm not ashamed of what I said. It's the truth. The more money you give him, and he specifically said this, so if you thought it was going to be any different, you're a fucking idiot. The more money I have, the bigger the fucking game's going to get. So let's keep giving him money, which is part of the reason why it's not quote unquote finished. Because if he would have only had $50 million to work with, he would have fucking limited his scope and the fucking shit would have been done. But it would have been different. Right. It would have been completely different.
He would have also went to investor and says, hey, this is the interest in the game, please invest.
No, we don't know if he has or hasn't, though.
Yeah.
He may have.
Yeah.
You have to remember there was a core group of investors that put their own money that's working in the company. When the game started, they needed funding from the get-go to get the shit going before they did the Kickstarter.
The Colombian drug lords?
Whatever.
Whatever.
But it reminds me again, we're back to the same thing. Anything that's successful is going to be shout out, doesn't matter what. And it's like, you should be glad this company is getting money, but it's like, wow, there's investors. That's a bad thing, huh? What are you smoking, right? It's kind of like the Elon Musk thing, and I think Elon Musk, he's just a smarter, more PC version of Junta. That's why Junta likes him. Elon Musk doesn't care what anybody says. He just goes straight for whatever he want to do, and he has the money to do it. And he just goes straight for it. And then he appears on the internet with flamethrowers and all this other damn shit he can build. And if he was Junta, he would be there with an M60 and just blasting in all directions, just having the time of his life.
Did you see that? Did you see that shit from that guy? Who the fuck is that big ass? And I don't remember the old man's name that does all the big investments and stuff. But he was bagging on Elon Musk, the comparing like his ideas of going into electric cars, which aren't proven, and in candy, which this guy is invested in, like candy, Mars, Snickers, M&M's, some shit like that. And Elon Musk tweets out like the same day, "That's it. I'm starting a candy company. It's going to be huge."
I just think people like to see other companies fail, or they don't like change. So, for example, when the T model came out from Ford, people were like, "This is not going to be a thing,"
right?
Because horse and buggies was
horse and buggy is the future. Yeah.
And look where we are now. Women working in the workforce after the 50s, it wasn't a thing. Like, and where are we now? Getting better, but people are succeeding, and people don't like to see other people succeed or change. So I think that's what it is. People don't like seeing change.
Well, I think that's definitely a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Who's this? The stealth DJ. I'm not sure if that question means is a stealth DJ? Is he not aware of how Star Citizen came to be? I'm not sure. So if he understands CIG,
are they investing in the game or are they investing in the company? Because he's saying the company will go past Star Citizen and do other things, which is something that we have said.
Because it's new.
Well,
at this point, I mean, it's because it's the same. CIG was just started because they needed to make Star Citizen. It wasn't like an already existing gaming development company that makes other stuff in the meantime. No, it's...
Yeah, but I think his question is more along the lines of, would people be investing for CIG to solely make Star Citizen, or for CIG to become this big corporate monstrous company that would make, like action figures and all this other stuff that goes along with it, which we've seen a bunch of, I've got fucking mouse mats and shirts and posters and all this other. So how far could CIG take that? Could CIG branch into making CGI? CIG makes CGI movies.
Of course.
They could, right? Especially they have all this mocap shit going on and all that stuff. It's probably easier for them to make a movie than it would be to make an MMO, because you don't need a fucking network to do that.
Well, of course,
other people that want to do the same thing use them to make their movies, and
possibly
and experience, right?
Sure, the deals that we don't know about could be endless. They could go in fucking a billion different directions. So everybody's got their own little angle that they're trying to work out.
And not only that, we are perpetually worried about not the game being developed, but the game having money enough to keep being developed for the longevity of 10 or 15 years in this game. And I think we're surpassed that in terms of the contract, with however form it takes between Amazon and CIG. Because if this game is successful, and I back my money on it, I already have, it's going to be successful, then Amazon is going to make us kill It's gonna steal so many clients from other game engines. It's crazy. Where do you make money in that? Single player games or MMOs?
Yeah,
I mean, even the biggest selling franchise, GTA, went it's kind of MMO, at least multiplayer, right? With money to buy stuff in games.
she's so stiffly.
I don't.
That sucks.
No, I don't know.
Killing me.
Oh,
Sorry.
that bad. Let's have a music break anyway. We haven't actually gone through the actual news, so you can do that, Lex. We have done much salt already. And then we'll be
We're going
back.
to talk a little bit about Shadow when we come back.
Oh, do we? Well,
Oh, yeah.
Video Shadow?
no Shadow.
Or is that somebody else making it?
Cloud-based computer
It's
game.
not NVIDIA's thing, no. I'll be back. Stay tuned. Yeah. Questions are still on. You can do that. Just like where, just do that. It's easy. Submit them, and we'll go through them at the end of the show. Stay tuned. We'll be back. Love. Welcome back.
Drama.
No, we're done with that for now.
Are we in the salt block now?
We have been.
I'd like to hit on this. Innovis said, I would like to see them, i.e., CIG, make other games if they don't cut into the Star Citizen lifespan or its development. And I don't necessarily think that Chris's idea is to branch off into other things. I think his idea is to make Squadron 42, then make Squadron 42, then make Squadron 42, and then make something that ties into Squadron 42, and so on, simultaneously running a live game environment in an MMO, which should generate income for CIG as a company through shit like microtransactions. Like we've had a billion discussions about where the fuck that could go, ship paint, costumes. They talked about in a recent ATV or something that you will more than likely have the ability to change the color of your armor. Somehow, there's $5. You want your fucking medium marine armor to be like matte black? Cost you $5, dude. All day. Motherfuckers that buy, you want your gun to have fucking flames on it and shit? $5. All
That should be
fucking day.
$5. Maybe
$5. Fuck
$1.
that. This is
No.
capitalism. Rape these bitches. Make that money.
Oh my god.
Make it rain.
But you
Fuck
can do that
it.
with $1. With $1, you can make it change all the time. The frequency will be increased.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. If
figure
you
out the
lower the
right
price
number
by
where
50%, then you double sales.
Look at it this way. If Eden can get 20 dresses for $20, she will spend $1. But she can only get 2 dresses for $20. She will be, you ain't getting my money, bitches.
I'd be like, nope, not spending money on this stupid stuff. But if it's cheap, like $1 or 25 cents for a die for one piece of armor, I'm like, I could let go of $1. I could let go of 25 cents.
Right.
Again. And by the end of the year, it would have been like, what, $50? And I have no clue how that happened. But if you charge like $5 or something, I'd be like, how much do I need this in my life?
I kind of disagree with Dave here. That he'd be fine with a lot of this shit as long as you could still earn everything / almost anything in game. Yes and no, because what makes cosmetics make fucking games money if the games are popular? People will spend, and you have to acknowledge right now in your mind that CIG will need continual funding.
Because he already said there won't be a subscription.
Right. So
monthly.
One or the other. Microtransactions for things that don't enhance your advantage in game or $15 a month.
Well, you can buy cash. You know, they've already stated that because
Sure.
the game is so large. And think about this. We're partly in the salt block, so we can mention this. A lot of people like to bitch about, you know, this is going to be so pay to win because you get to pay to get some money, spending money, so that you can go out and fight the little time you have to play instead of, you know, grinding. But this is the whole point. Is this game only for those who think that you have to spend 22 plus hours a week to be worthy of playing this game?
There's a difficult line to balance there. Really difficult line.
And at the same time, those people say, well, this game kind of sucks. There's nobody left there. No, because nobody want to play with you elitist fucks.
I don't know how many people played WoW Vanilla, right? But there was this thing in WoW Vanilla, the arena, PvP arena. And if you played and just sacrificed all the rest of your life to get high warlord ranking, you got this fucking beastly armor that if you took that shit and went out into the real world, into the real game world, into the MMO section, you would just destroy everybody instantly. But you had to commit 30 hours a week plus to do that. And some people were like, well, that's the way it should be. And some people were, and more people than that were like, dude, that's fucked up. I can't play that much, you know? So they're gonna
yeah,
they're gonna have to find a fucking balance on how hardcore it actually needs to be. Because I agree, you know, I'll probably spend 30 hours in this game if it's worth it, you know, a week. But some people aren't going to be able to do that. You know, you come home from work, you eat dinner, you're fucking exhausted. You'll get on, you'll maybe do a trade run or two or something, hanging out with your friends and shit, and then you're done. And on the weekend, you know, you got things to do. I'm planning on just disassociating myself from the rest of reality, but
I think that's
I'm
a thing
probably an outlier.
That's probably a thing of this time too, that people have less time left.
No, that's true, Vince, man. Remember when you had to do 40-man raids and you had to commit an 8-hour day to do a 40-man raid because that's what it took. It was crazy. And you can't...
Yeah, you better not leave halfway through.
Right, because you get kicked out of your fucking raiding guild if you did that shit. But life isn't like that for most people, you know? So there's a point where it's going to be too easy because WoW in its current form is just too fucking simple. There's no challenge there whatsoever. So hopefully they can find the center of the pendulum, you know, as WoW swung from one form of hardcore to one form of ultra casual, and it broke things for a lot of people. We'll see.
There's one thing to be said about cosmetics, though. I mean, although people might think they're useless and you know, they just enhance looks, but it has a you know, certain appeal to the gameplay itself. Although it doesn't benefit anyone in any way, it just makes the universe more alive as well. Because if people have more variety in what they wear and what they like, they can show off weapons with special skins in the game. I mean, it's cool. And it generates revenue, but it doesn't, you know, give people an advantage over another. It just makes the universe alive. Yeah.
Here's a really good example of how this works, right? Fortnite. Hugely fucking popular game, right? I know you roll your eyes because it's literally a console peasants and kids game.
It's a PUBG,
you know?
Right? Yeah.
But it's a cartoon version of PUBG.
Yeah.
So they have this thing in there called V-Bucks, and I only know this because I have 3 kids in the other room all fucking geeking over this game, right? And they come in with a $5 bill because they don't have PayPal. Dad has PayPal. I need to buy V-Bucks. For
'Cause
what?
For PayPal, you need to be like 16 or 18.
For a skin. Aren't you the same kid that was buying skins on Counter-Strike for your knives and you don't play that game anymore? Yeah.
Okay, whatever. It's your money.
Okay. It's your money. Fuck it. You know, they get money for doing shit. They cut neighbors' lawns and they get money for their birthdays and stuff. I don't let them get crazy and buy $100 worth of shit, but $5 here, $5 there. I let them fucking do it, you know? And the same thing applies to Star Citizen, though. And that's my point. It's not Fortnite, but the $5 doesn't mean anything in game because it doesn't give them an advantage. It just changes the game for the individual.
Yeah, so why did they still sell these humongous ships for $700 though? I mean,
because motherfuckers are buying.
People can do that, but it appeals to a little bit of a weird audience because, you know, if they had tons of items on the store that were only $5 and were, you know, also in game value pretty low, then I guess they might have a
because
spur
that required the small investments require instant gratification. That's why you can't.
So maybe they're holding it back. Then you mean for later?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Because once the game launches, and if we've talked about this point as well, Squadron 42 needs to be a big hit, right?
Mm-hmm.
It needs to generate hundreds of millions, if not more, to kind of float the company until the next version of Squadron 42 and continue development of the MMO and stuff. But when the MMO gets flushed out to a certain state where you actually have functional gameplay and you have a daily routine or a weekly routine, you transport cargo, you fucking pirate people, you do something, whatever, that's when those $5 aspects of funding actually get implemented because you're in there all the time. When you dye your armor black, you're looking at it all the time. Right now, it's about big money.
Like $5 drones.
$5
like
drones.
Here, like drones. Did you see that pass by in the ATV? Actually, I think it was a shot with the hangars where you saw, like I can find it. You saw these drones flying next to the
right there.
To the Starfarer. I know what they do, but yeah,
They're changing the ship paint
maybe that's what they're doing
to make it matte black.
with their cameras.
They're putting their org insignia on the side of the ship,
I don't know.
which they could charge organizations like hundreds of dollars to get your fucking artwork approved to get it on the side of your ship. And don't think that people wouldn't pool their fucking money to get that done. You could charge them fucking $5,000. But there's ways to make money that don't enhance the gameplay advantage for any players. You know, do I think that selling ships theoretically is pay to win? Like at this level, it's borderline, man. You know, you get a fucking C-130 cargo transport or a fucking carpet bombing monster for $700. That seems maybe like it could be an advantage in the future, a couple years down the road. But then again, it's nothing that you can't earn in game, so they have to have things that you can't earn in game to entice you to spend your money out of it. That's funny. This shot right here, there was so much fucking salt on the internet about this shot. Oh, it all looks the same. There's no diversity.
Of course it does.
Like, are you fucking kidding me, man? It's a fucking work in progress, dude. They're just seeing if the technology works. They're like, oh, the trees are exactly the same. What the fuck? This sucks.
The testing of the trees wasn't the purpose of the test. Yeah, of course they look all the same.
It's
It's
funny.
about the large scale that they're testing. Yeah, I know.
Dude.
I saw that shot and I was really like, yeah, I saw that it didn't look very good. The trees were also basic, and I already realized like, okay, someone on the forums is gonna go nuts over this,
and they did.
And they did.
And can't you? That's why I'm wondering. You're just seeing shots from high above a planet, going down to the planet.
The
seeing
tree train.
forest on the fucking planets, grass on the fucking planets. You see rocks there on the fucking planet. And all you have to bring is your uninformed opinion about the trees being equal when they say it's a large-scale rendering test. It says it on the screen.
It's so funny. Zeus and I were playing last night, just talking shit, right? And that was one of the talking points of that conversation was, why do people always focus on what they don't have instead of realizing what they do have and appreciating it? Because that's always what it's like. If it wasn't, it would be, well, all the planets are just sand with a bunch of rocks. So they're working on tech to give you trees, and now you see that there's trees, but that's not good enough. And then the next thing that they implement won't be good enough.
But that's what people do with their lives themselves, like, too. Like, they're never happy because they're focusing on the negative. So I think it's just...
Which is why everybody's on antidepressants.
Life, and then they just apply their attitude to life to the game.
Everything,
oh, this is not good enough. This, why it's missing this, it's missing that. And they're miserable. Because that's how they see the world.
So, before we go, let's touch on cloud-based gaming.
Oh, sorry, that was supposed to be this whole block.
You don't have that many questions.
Tangent.
There's two companies. There's multiple in the works, but there's two companies that I see as major right now, which is GOS or NVIDIA now, basically, is the one that's most prevalent.
Well, I found it's the
strongest. It's the strongest competitor because it supports higher than 1080p in higher resolution.
I don't understand how this is going to work. Does the client not run the game and the game runs on a cloud server?
Yep.
Exactly.
It's just like if you go to Facebook and you look at the screen, you're actually not playing that on your PC.
Well,
Most of the rendering is done on the servers.
You can compare it with, I'm not sure if you've used it before, tried it before, like Steam in-home streaming, where you can use Steam running on your main computer here, and you go downstairs, you have this Steam Link device that basically receives the image to the stream from your computer over local network to the device that's hooked up to your TV, and you can sit at your TV and play high-fidelity games that are running on your computer. So you're basically using your computer's resources to play nice-looking games that otherwise wouldn't have been running on such a small device.
But Dirk
but
made a
now
really
it's on the
good
cloud.
point that,
So
what about input latency? Because you're talking about in-home, and you're on a gigabit network in your home, so that data is fucking moving.
it uses,
at zero latency, essentially.
From what I've heard, I mean, Board Gamers made a nice video about this. He's tested it with Star Citizen 2. He's in contact with the developers that keep updating it. And even he says that people trying this out have actually noticed very little latency. There's ways, and technology has ways to reduce that to near zero, even if it's so far away. I don't know how, but apparently it's possible. I guess you can never really avoid the latency between you and the client server, because it depends on where you are, though. It does really depend on where you are. If you're close to the servers or not.
Yeah. So Shadow, which we talked about, only is they are expanding, so they're multiple location, but NVIDIA really has multiple locations, multiple server farms. Now, they have reduced latencies to a state where it actually is playable unless you're a competitive player. Most people think they are competitive players. They aren't.
They're not. Yeah, this is that is always what I've been saying about people buying these high-end gaming peripherals, like gaming mouses with very low input lag, or screens that have super low input lag. I mean, does it really matter that much for you if you're just a casual gamer? No, of course it doesn't. It's usually a waste of money, but people want to get that because it's
big kids
it's
want
cool.
big toys, brother.
But if you are relatively young, let's say you're Rellim or Eden Star, you can still benefit from enhancing your skill and getting to a certain level. But for me and Junta, it's absolutely pointless. So,
Even
but
for that,
that's
we're
the
old.
thing. So, and that is if you take the time to get good, and most people don't do that. So, a lot of people sit on a lot of knowledge about how screens work, how tearing works, how resolution works, but do they play at the level? No, they're just fixated on the pixels and think they can notice a difference. And some people have faster perception than they can, but they don't practice, so they get a benefit from it.
Well, and besides that,
But
the service costs money, of course. It's subscription based. It's like $30, $35, $40 per month. And you do get a
Depends on
pretty
if you take
beefy
a
PC.
year. It's $50, I think, for a month, right? And then 40 for 3 and 30 or 35 for a year. Something like that. US dollars.
Well, they're upgrading
Now
their
that
service as they
equates
go.
to like a mid-range gaming
No,
PC access to a mid-range.
$2,000.
I think it's pretty
But
much
yeah.
what we have. It amounts to, because I think the board
Well,
gamer
that's
mentions
people a lot of
they have graphics similar to a 1080 GTX.
Oh,
but the RAM
NVIDIA,
is allocated is only
does.
like 14 or 16 gigs, so it's not that much. But they're, like I said, they're still upgrading the system, so they might get more over time. And the CPU power, I guess, was close to some hyper-threaded i7 something. That's what they compare it to.
So N7, so NVIDIA can play at a higher resolution at 60 frames per second. You can't do that with Shadow. Shadow is kind of limited to 1080p at 60 frames per second, or 59.8, something like that.
I have a different question. Let me take this from a different angle, right? Because most of these motherfuckers around here are all environmentally conscious, fucking whatever you want to call it, right? Think about the fucking power draw that all these goddamn data centers fucking put on any electrical grid anywhere in the world just for stupid shit like this fucking thing. There are data centers everywhere. Now we want to save the fucking planet, right? How are we going to fucking do that if we're constantly needing new technology so we don't have to fucking buy a gaming PC? We're going to fucking run something that has to have its own coal-fired power plant so that you can fucking play a video game. You
Doesn't matter.
fucking people are such hypocrites. Do you even recycle?
It's all allocated
Fuck
over
you.
time anyway. I don't know how it works,
Bullshit.
but
Bullshit.
I mean, your PC would be off when you don't play on it, but I guess I'm not sure how their systems work.
I'm going to take this a different direction.
You had to say that.
I have to say that. Imagine how many people now can actually play Star Citizen.
Well, I think that if you can't afford
Nobody.
the computer, you should fuck off. You can't afford the computer, you can't afford the ships.
You can play Star Citizen on your phone if
Wait,
you have
that's
Shadow.
not true, because if you can't afford the computer, you could come hang out with us and we'll build one and fucking mail it to you.
Yeah, you know, it's still weird. You don't.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how you solve. It's also the weird things like how do you do that? How do you freaking call? No, yeah.
A cult.
No, I mean, like, how do, yeah, there's so many things you can't do then if you don't have the beefy PC at home. Because in this case, it's only usable for gaming, right? So you can't really do this on it, like streaming or whatever. I guess well, maybe you could, but what the hell? How do you even transfer the audio and the camera?
Does the
Like,
porn stream at 1080?
4K, actually.
maybe if people
4K
use
porn?
VPNs, then you could use it for that.
Then it's acceptable by Gentile standard right now.
Where the hell do we
But
get to?
but it's just, I think it's a turning point. Cloud gaming will allow a broader audience to get into Star Citizen.
It could, for
The
sure.
good
That's
thing, Not only Star Citizen, but also Squadron, specifically Squadron 42.
Well, but there's one thing that I guess it would be more useful for is that if you are someone who travels a lot, or maybe you're a gaming celebrity, or maybe you just as one of those YouTuber guys, or maybe you're you need to go somewhere, but you need to be able to play Star Citizen as well as you can at home. You can bring your freaking system along, or you can just have one of those cloud-based systems with the same, beefiness of power as a high-end gaming system, and you can play that game anywhere you like. You can sit at a LAN party on the other side of the world, and you can have this exact same computer where you play it on without bringing the computer.
On your laptop. Well, you have to bring a laptop.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Or someone else's computer, for that matter. Just like a system that you have already set up with a minimal requirements.
Yeah.
But then performance becomes more based on network latency.
It does, and I don't really
latency.
trust network that much at all anyway.
So if you're in the goddamn Marriott in New Jersey on their Wi-Fi, how well would that work?
It won't work at all.
You need like at least a 50 megabit or something, I think, for that. It's pretty demanding, though.
So the testing they did here in Norway to the European data center for GeForce Now, one of the the big hardware companies, testing companies, magazines. They managed to play relatively low latency. They figured out that said 25 it works. The minimum requirement for GeForce Now is 25, but you need about 40 to be because of everything else that goes on in your internet at home, etc. So you need to have
well, Dave has
you need to have a download speed there which is 40 or higher, so you don't get any hold-ups due to other people doing other stuff with it. Let's say your wife's or kids start to watch YouTube videos or play other games, then you need that bandwidth.
Well, like Dave is saying up there, that the internet latencies would be resolved in the future. Internet latencies are relatively resolved today. It's just that the infrastructure in the United States is pathetic, to say the least.
Well, but if everything was perfect, though, you would still have latency because you're working with you're working with information speed, so speed of light is not unlimited, and it still takes a couple hundred milliseconds for something, or even for light to go from the other side of the world to the one side of the world to the other.
What you're trying to
and
do.
I don't think you can ever go faster than that anyway.
Well, absolutely. And then when you're talking about a multiplayer environment like Star Citizen proper, not Squadron 42, but Star Citizen proper, where you have all these different characters based around the globe accessing data centers, they all have to have a convergence point for data, right? And a server has to make a determination on where everything is, and then that data is bouncing back and forth, so everybody's playing at different latencies. So I don't know. It wouldn't change anything, I don't think, because it's already fucked up.
So just think about the United States. You would have an East Coast, a Midwest, or whatever. You would have an West Coast data center. You already have that for GeForce Now.
Sure.
In Europe, you would have, North and South Europe data centers. You probably already have that. I think it's only one current, but I think they're planning to expand. But the thing here is that when you connect, and we're talking now about
He's going to pay for it, Eden. He's offering. Yeah. I seen it.
But it's
going to be your ticket and your plane flight.
It's going to be Star Citizen.
This is how you
it's
start
have the same setup.
That's how I get shit done. Sorry.
So when you connect
from your rumors have them going anyway, so.
So when you connect to your local from your local laptop, wherever you are, or because that's all you can afford, to a cloud-based gaming service, no matter which one you choose, GeForce Now or Shadow, you're using your connection, you're at home, we don't talk about travel, but you just talk about good solid connection, and you have a good solid speed and relatively low band latency to your cloud-based PC. Now, if you're going to play single player, that's fine, but if you're going to play an MMO or a multiplayer game, if you're going to be a competitive player, you buy your own damn PC. That's how simple it is. But if you're not, this is a good option for you.
Sure.
Specifically, if you can live with a lower, I call anything below 4K lower resolution. So you can live with lower resolution. That local data center where your cloud-based PC is very close to, and is connecting not through home network, but through direct connection between data centers on the local next or in each country. You know, the internet highway basically to the data center where Star Citizen is. So it's not going to be like,
so the data connection is like zero latency, essentially.
well, very, very, very low latency. So whatever latency you have, it's not multiplied because it has to go back and forth a billion times. It goes to that data center and then goes the super highway to the next data center. It's the same thing as, you know, me and Junta, we're most likely not going to be paired together unless we actually, in Star Citizen, say we want to play together. And this game is like, he's in the United States, you're in Europe. You really sure you want to play together? So
yeah, but the difference comes down to what you were saying. We don't think that we are competitive players. We're just enjoying the experience. So a couple hundred milliseconds, while that is a lot, it's a lot, isn't that detrimental to that type of gameplay.
Yeah, so we would play together. You know, you would come to Europe server if we were a couple of Europeans or a group of Europeans, and I would go to the American server if there was, say, and I wouldn't have to choose. I would say, I just want to connect to Junta's group. And since they're mostly Americans, I would now be playing on the American version of Star Citizen. And this is the same thing with cloud-based PC. I can choose to, since I'm up most nights, to use connect to a cloud-based PC in the United States, or if I want to have a low latency towards my main machine, which is the cloud-based machine, I would then do the Europe thing and then over to Europe, over to States for Star Citizen. But all of this doesn't really matter. It's perceived latency that's matter. What do you actually perceive? And those who have tested it seem to think that it's hard pressed for them to notice the difference. And this is, most game testers are not professional gamers, they are casual gamers. And for them, they don't perceive the difference. Now, we're back to the same thing. You want shit done the hardcore way, you go spend money on your own PC. But this brings more people that wouldn't be able to play Star Citizen or Squadron 42, specifically Squadron 42, to give more money so we can play the game.
And who knows? Maybe in the future they would discover something like subspace, and then they would route all of the connection through there, which would make it go instantly or something like that. Fast, super fast. 5 milliseconds from here to US.
Quantum computing.
That was sci-fi anyway. Nubifier.
You're late.
Whoa! Indeed,
Go back to bed.
I wouldn't say it, but we have
I'll
10
say
minutes
it, I don't give
for
a
questions. We should probably just do that right now.
You mean we're gonna skip a music break?
Fuck that. Anyways, here's an interesting point that Dave, again, because he is a very intelligent young man, he makes pretty good points. I think the more we become entangled with the internet, the more we have two possible paths ahead. Internet as a right, or internet for the financially well off. And
like everything else, we're going for the right.
What if the internet was
a
separated state in the world? As a country.
Yeah, right.
I can tell
They
you
could tax you.
whatever you believe, just go on believing it. Everything you do
fuck
on the
local
internet
laws. We're on the internet and we have our own laws.
because it requires money to provide a service, regardless
I
of
know
whether
it's
you
still
like
the
that
physical
fact or not.
servers are still in all the countries around the world. Yeah.
Exactly, and the Americas do things financially different than Europe does in most cases, where the Europeans have access to internet more as a right, but they pay for that ahead of time, whereas in the States, it is based on your financial ability to pay for it as an individual. So you
After the fact.
subsidize high quality internet for those who can't afford high quality internet, and it forces the price down a little bit, whereas the United States doesn't do it that way. Like I could get fiber, but it's $300 a month just for the fucking connection.
Not yet. Imagine a future in not so many years, less than 5.
Google have balloons everywhere with
Where-
Wi-Fi on it.
Notice all the crates you can buy in game, right? Now set that into real life. The money's not going to come from your meager payment in subscription. That's going to be reduced. They want you to spend money online through the internet connection any way you can. So the money is not going to come from there. The money is going to come from what you spend. And which internet you use is going to become important, because they're going to track it. So there's going to be subsidized. There's going to be content that's pushed through the DNS. They're already doing this, remember? But it will be more prevalent in about 5 years. So that when you search for stuff, guess what's going to come up first? And you think Google is controlling the market there alone? It doesn't. A lot of the things that you are looking for that pops up first is controlled locally by your local ISP.
Sure.
So
the only problem with internet is that it is right on the cusp of becoming a absolute necessity for a basic standard of living. You don't have to have electricity, but generally speaking, in the first world, you have to have electricity. If you live in certain regions, you have to have heat. You have to have a roof that doesn't leak, right? These are just basic standards. You have to have a jacket. You have to have shoes. Now that
you have to have online banking.
Everything is on this fucking device, right? All my bills, everything. It's all through the net. Can I go into the bank and talk to the banker? Yes. Who the fuck does that?
Old ladies.
Right. Well, think about this. The old ladies don't fucking drive anymore, so they can't get to the goddamn bank to do their banking, so they have to rely on the internet to pay their fucking taxes, because they don't have a mortgage anymore and all this stuff.
And they're laying down branch office after another. They don't want to pay for people working at local branches.
So I agree with Dave to a certain extent that people are going to become their standard of living, or whatever you want to call it, is going to be impaired because they don't have access to the internet. It isn't quite there yet. You could still get by without access to the internet, but at some point, like you said, within the next few years, it's going to become
a right.
Yeah,
it's going to be a right.
So there's already talk in the United States to take the internet out of the hands of the free market and create a regulated utility, just like they do with electricity, because the government in the United States regulates the cost of electricity. They tell these companies, you can't fucking bankrupt people because you're greedy. You have to provide electricity at this is the rate which we had determined, which you make a viable profit. You pay all your employees to keep the service up, and you make a little bit of money. Now, like Time Warner, Comcast, all this other bullshit, these are fucking monster corporations making billions and billions of dollars on a daily basis. That might be an exaggeration, but They're making a lot of fucking money. Fuck them.
We have 5 minutes for questions.
I want free fucking fiber. And I want Dirk to pay for it.
Canada.
No, I'm just
You
kidding.
have 5 minutes for questions. Is that what I heard?
He's
Yeah, we
full
can
of
do it.
shit. It's as long as it takes. It
No,
usually
there's only
is.
a
It's like,
couple.
oh, we gotta hurry. We gotta hurry. We gotta go. The plants need water.
Okay. First question. From Star Citizen 1595263. Sounds like a bot.
No, it's
It's a
not.
bot.
How does the insurance work or will work? Like 6 months or 6 real-time months? Also, will it count if you do not play? That is the point, I guess.
We kind of talked about this when his question came up because it wasn't a cue. It was a statement that he made. It is supposed to be
It's on the list.
while you are logged into the game, the clock is ticking. Do we know if it is standardized real life time or Star Citizen time, which is extremely accelerated? We don't know. I have not heard any clarification.
It was a long
on
time
that
ago,
whatsoever.
but assuming it will still stay the same that they explained it is, well, we don't know exactly between that like real play time or in game time. We don't know that, but we do know that as far as we know, it's play time, right? Yeah.
It is supposed to be played
And it's
time
not.
while
It's
you
not going
are
to keep
logged
running if you're not logged in.
in. Right.
I mean, and that's why we keep making that comparison, because it wasn't that. Yeah, that's in World of Warcraft, right? Where you can issue a command where you can see how long
/played.
how long you've played that certain specific character, and even after so many years of playing that character, your playtime would still not even be a year in total, or something like that. You would have that character for almost 6 years, and you still hadn't come close to that anyway. So
No, I think the max time I had played on my Warlock was like 283 days, and that was like the very first character I created in vanilla.
Hmm.
And I did a lot of raiding, like an idiot, not sleeping and going to work.
From Chelsea 1973. Should service beacons work in space that have no communication satellites near? Possible role for the Herald.
Definitely.
yeah, I think the communication satellites like comm rays are just to pass along the signal. But if there's nothing to pass it along, it'll still send out a signal, but it won't be detectable until you're close enough to detect the source, right?
Mhm.
So
And
yeah,
that's the
both for
possible
the
role.
Herald. Yeah.
And the role, you would have to have a permanent herald there for emergency, but it's for the role for the herald will be to mark that specific location as being taken, as being claimed, or whatever you want to call it. And then at
Endpoint.
once it's claimed, once it's claimed, then the herald can move on. Now, it's just to make sure that you actually own what you own. That it's being registered.
The citizen number
I think that
1.5
might be a
million.
citizen number.
It could be, yeah. Yeah.
But it sounds like a bot when you have like anything with a long series of numbers.
It sort of does.
Just
yeah.
saying, it's nothing personal. I figured it
You
was.
know, I think I saw him follow us last week, and I thought then like, oh yeah, yep, another bot just followed us. But apparently that was a real guy.
It's not just me.
So thank you for following.
Okay, next question.
Yeah, we give you a little heart thing and shit, but we don't do that here. Fuck that. I don't
We
do
give
that. I
salt.
don't allow that on this fucking show. Oh, we love you guys. Fuck off.
Welcome to the crew.
You get
Grow
salt
with
for
that.
it. You know, you signed up for this, just FYI. Next question from Nor. Is Star Citizen 2 big to fail now? Did we just talk about this?
This
Do you
question
think
came on
Amazon-
because of the.
I love it.
Would step in to bail out CIG if they run out of backer money? I don't think that's a
Yes,
issue.
and yes.
We've had
Because-
that discussion a billion times.
Amazon would step into bail.
What,
Uh,
Eden?
Because I don't think that's going to be an issue. And two, with the Start engine, you can make money off the Start engine. as
work
well.
they've done is pretty, it's pretty worthy
Look at it
already.
this way.
It's worth a lot for some.
Yeah, we don't know how the contracts work between companies and stuff because they're not going to share that shit. This is big boys playing big games, right? And it's not for the plebs on the internet talking about the big boys. But there are so many opportunities for income for CIG based on, like Solid is a tool no other game has, could be used for an individual game. Yeah, all of these tools, what the hell do they call it? Data Forge? Is that what they call their like programming tool? I think it's called Data Forge, where instead of going in and manipulating the code of the Lumberyard engine, they just set in a bunch of parameters and Data Forge does the work and writes the code for them. That's huge, you know? So these tools have monetary value, you know? To answer the question directly, I think that Amazon has a lot riding on CIG being successful with Star Citizen. And if CIG is a massive success, and it can fail, it can run out of money, it can be mismanaged. Chris could go on a cocaine bender and fucking blow all your money. You don't know. You don't fucking know the guy, you know?
But the thing is that I think that there will be some bailing happening, not only from Amazon, but from other actors.
Oh, for sure. But Amazon has a vested interest in seeing Star Citizen succeed, for sure. No question. And they have more money than fucking, like, anybody.
Yeah. That's the whole point. But the bad thing about that would be that suddenly we have a major investor that is kind of running the show.
Wants their money back.
Uh-huh.
At least he
True
lose
story.
a few pounds. We already discussed the drama over the ship prices continuing to rise. Dude, the chat's just giving us more drama to talk about. This is just great. We could go on for hours if we did it that way.
I don't necessarily like what do they mean by ship prices continuing to rise? They mean existing ships that were already sold
I think
3 or 4
just
years
overall,
ago. Because
it's rising too.
CIG has specifically stated that concept will be the cheapest you'll ever be able to buy the ship, and the price of the ship is guaranteed to go up. Now, why are they doing this though? That's the question. Is it because they think that they can milk more money out of you, or they are trying to limit sales of certain ships? Because I think that they try to limit sales based on cost. They make it prohibitive for people to be able to buy shit. Like, is it the A2 that's the bomber that's $700? That's $700 fucking dollars. That's a fucking video card.
Look at it this way. If everybody had the mother of all wrecking balls, would there be many locations safe on any planets? That's why the price is $700.
You mean to say that to drive the in-game count of these ships, actually not be it so that everyone has it, right?
Right, and I think that's
balancing
the
point, game in the end. Yeah.
If you make it more expensive, only those that can truly afford it will buy it, and therefore it will arbitrarily limit the amount of those ships at the start of the game.
Yeah, they've been doing that more and more anyway. So like,
you know, they need to make money, but they need to not have everybody have fucking, Idris. Not everybody should have an Idris or a Javelin. Or any big ship. You all should start with fucking Auroras, really.
Yes, yeah, because I already
Avenger or
I do already wonder how the amount of ships that people already own impacts will or if it would impact the game when it launches. Like, I mean, they wouldn't be able to get all the ships just out anyway. We know that you need some sort of stuff to be able to afford to fly bigger ships, but still, you wouldn't need to buy those ships anymore. So all the people that already have all of these ships, I wonder how that impacts. I just wonder how that already impacts the start of the whole universe in Star Citizen when it goes live. Compared to if that was not the case, though. And you would have to actually work for everything you want to get in the game.
Well, obviously you're going to have to grind reputation for some reason, and you're going to have to grind the capital that's going to allow you to operate these larger ships, because fuel isn't going to be free and blah, blah, blah. Nothing's going to be free in the game world itself. So hopefully, we've talked about this a billion times too, there's a system set in place that forces you to start with a smaller ship and work your way up from the bottom. And then when you have enough capital built that it seems like it would be profitable to start operating your I would, Hercules C2 cargo transport.
I would
thing.
prefer they'd set the bar really high for that, so that, you know, you really need to go through a lot of stuff in order for you to actually fly that ship in the first place.
Yeah, and we talked about the other shit. You know, I think it was last week or the week before. Like javelins. It should be very fucking rare that you see a javelin, because that thing should be so cost prohibitive that it takes an organization amount of funding to operate that fucking ship, not just the random guy who had a credit card and went fucking crazy when the sale and hit F5 like every fucking 2 seconds to get his javelin that he's never going to be able to afford to operate in game. I hope that's the way that it works anyway.
Zeus.
I'm not the developer
Zeus.
though, so.
From Omega Zeus DX. So when Star Citizen is launched and successful, and as a result, Disney offers a Star Wars game deal to CIG or CBS Star Trek game deal, do you think CIG will take it? I believe they would, and it would be awesome. No. Disney needs to keep their hands off of CIG.
Disney needs to keep their hands off of gaming, period.
Yeah. And they should have kept their fucking hands off of Star Wars too, those fuckers.
Mm-hmm.
Where's George Lucas? Where is he?
Oh, he's still
Swimming
around.
in money?
He's laughing all the way
He's
to the bank.
chillaxing and seeing his...
Yeah. My entire childhood was destroyed in like the last few years of
Hey, you guys have been
Disney
bitching
bullshit.
for 20 years about the first Star Wars movie. It's like...
It makes the Phantom
Star
Menace
Wars
actually really good, doesn't it?
I like the
makes
Phantom Menace.
Star Wars 1, 2, and 3 look fucking phenomenal, doesn't it? That's savage. George would do more Jar Jar. I agree.
Oh God.
Yes, bring me more Jar Jar Binks.
No, BB-8.
My wife
BB-8,
is-
I'll be okay.
My wife is not a huge Star Wars fanatic, right? But we've watched every Star Wars multiple times, right? We used to have like family time in the bedroom and play Star Wars on the laptop when all the kids were real little, and we'd watch whatever Star Wars it was, right? So she understands the story, the arc of Star Wars. And we're watching was it The Last Jedi? That was the most recent one, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
And
that's
she's
Solo.
like, it's the same story again. They're starting over. I'm like, doesn't it seem that way, right?
Because
What is the connection between the girl and the boy in that movie? There's a connection. Where is this going? They're starting over. Remember, Han and Leia didn't realize that they were brother and sister until much later in the fucking series. What is the connection? That's all. No spoilers. There's a connection. There's something going on.
Mm-hmm.
it was inseminated by the
Well,
Force.
I just
Maybe
watched the
Leia
movie
was
with-
a whore and she slept around and had a baby out of wedlock, and that is Rey. And then she hooked up with Han. Maybe there was another smuggler.
But
I
what
can
if
tell you that I missed
was
Jar Jar
Anakin,
Binks in
like,
the last
born
one.
out of like metachlorines or whatever in
He
the
is.
air, like the father? Maybe she's the same way. I don't know. Or
Well, is she
they could
younger?
be cousins.
Is she younger than the guy?
They
And
could be
Han and
cousins.
Leia dropped her off on that shithole planet to protect her from her brother. Right? What did they do to Luke when he was a baby? Dropped him off on a fucking desert planet to protect him from his father. What the fuck is with all the dysfunctional families in Star Wars? Nobody can just get along. Nobody can just smoke a little weed and be like, yeah, man, it's cool. Yeah, I use the Force, brother. I'll light your joint. All right, sorry. Totally derailed.
Totally.
Last question
Game
from
of
Zeus
Thrones.
again. To add on to my earlier question, you never know who is watching in life today. My question is, when Star Citizen is a success, do you think they will get a popular franchise game deal with anybody? Or
Oh,
anyone?
I hope not. I don't think that's Chris's goal.
No,
No, I
If
think
it's
just
successful,
like-
he's going to continue to
he's
propagate
gonna play it.
more Star Citizen episodes and make that story just carry on. And it'll eventually turn into Star Wars where it's just utter shit.
Disney buys it.
Squadron 42 anyway, I mean. Jabba weed, hell yeah.
The weed that hobbits have. When they're taking the
That
hobbits
was
to
it, that's the
Isengard.
last question.
Chelsea said you need to play the game to find out who Ray's parents are.
Oh gosh.
We're done.
Nothing.
Yep, we're done. I'm too tired for this shit.
I see you closing your eyes. You're like, oh my god, we're just gonna shut up.
It's like
Talking about Star Wars. Oh my
rant,
god.
rant, rant.
Star Creed.
Star Wars.
Dude,
Ubisoft buys it.
they canceled The Expanse on Sci-Fi. What the fuck is that about?
Oh my gosh, can we talk about that? Oh, sneeze. Hold on.
Because Sci-Fi is one of those
Seriously,
companies that
what is wrong with
doesn't wanna-
Sci-Fi that they do that all the time?
they want to.
What's wrong with all these broadcast companies? Like Fox at one point slaughtered good numbers of shows, and then Sci-Fi is getting rid of Expanse.
They
What is
cancel
Sci-Fi
stuff.
known for these days? Because
think they just,
Expanse is the only show that I watch on Sci-Fi. What else do they do?
They cancel stuff at their top of their game because they're afraid to
Watch
You
it
know,
decline.
watch it decline, or afraid of what
Huh,
happens
maybe.
if they. It might slowly decline, but it's not really the point of it. It's about your audience though, if they're happy or not. Not about your freaking money.
Yeah, Sharknado
I-
6. Good point, Dirk. They can't keep The Expanse going,
Cancel
which is
all
actually
TV.
really good sci-fi, and they're gonna do fucking Sharknado again.
Sci-Fi is doing that.
Fuck is Sharknado.
All right, what is
What?
that other series? Alphas?
You've never heard of Sharknado? Oh my god.
I've heard a term, but I have no idea.
It's so bad. It's a TV show where tornadoes go over the ocean and suck up a bunch of sharks, and then these tornadoes come on land and there's sharks and they're getting thrown on people and they're getting eaten and shit. It's the stupidest thing ever. And
Sounds
it's on
great.
version 6. Dude.
So why would I have seen
had-
this?
One of my friends
don't know.
was actually part of
it's like
a
the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
company, and they were head to head versus Sharknado for a movie deal. Guess who lost? A sci-fi film versus Sharknado.
Sci-fi
Lost
lost.
against Sharknado.
Well, you know why? Because Sharknado has some basis in the climate change movement, doesn't it? That's like the premise behind why all these giant tornadoes
No,
are sucking up
The
the sharks.
explanation was B movies are a thing. So
The perfect storm.
Hollywood decided B movies are coming back because bad movies are a thing in or getting popularity again. Because I watch B movies with my friends. Like we will have B movie night. We'll pick a very bad movie and laugh our ass off about how terrible the movie is. There's
Some
one
of them
about-
are good. Not all of them, but some of them.
You guys have way too much time on your hand. What the fuck do you guys do, really?
I mean, this was in college. Whatever. No.
I'm just
I don't
supposed to be
watch bad
studying in
movies anymore
college.
because I don't have time for that stuff. But
No, you're not,
I'm still
Theo.
judgy over here.
That's a good point
Yeah.
right there. Dirk said these are forced cult classics. They're trying
Yeah.
to create something out of nothing. Because Sharknado is trash. Like literal. The worst ever.
I'm pretty sure I've seen the commercial with, one-headed, two-headed, three-headed sharks in all directions and eating submarines and
Something like that.
and it's like my kid is like, wow, we have to watch that. And I was like, no, we don't.
Okay, so we're done here. Star Citizen, too big
Really?
to fail.
Okay. I mean, often so many
It is.
engines. Stupid.
It is too big to fail.
Never
What do you
too
think,
big
Rellim?
to
Is
fail.
it too big to fail?
Well,
Are you glass half
unlike
empty or
the
half full?
unlike the Expanse, they don't have a company above them that can just cancel it. So, and Chris Roberts is not stupid, so he will never do that.
And they
How
have
many used
Amazon.
cars did he sell? Does anybody know?
Gosh.
Maybe a lot.
I would
I
imagine.
don't-
$186 million.
He'll just sell it with LTI.
It's got lifetime insurance, buddy.
All right, we're out.
No, I think
What the hell?
I think that Amazon is going to bail out. Definitely.
If it comes to that.
Of course.
They can bail out. Can they bail out us as well?
No.
As long as somebody makes sure that the shit gets finished, it's fine.
All of our social links and where you can find us are just been dumped in the chat. We have a website at TheBase.sc, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch while you're watching it. But we also broadcast on Shoutcast all the time, and even on Twitch all the time anyway. But we have a YouTube where we archive these shows. So if you've missed something, you can see it there. Our Discord is especially useful right now because we have a giveaway running the entire week. So just join up and up. You can just follow the link for discord.thebase.sc. It's really easy to remember. And
You could win some LTI.
there's a simple channel there that tells you what you need to do. It's actually really easy. Press a freaking button and you're in the draw for an Origin 125A LTI. The magic word of LTI.
Uh-oh.
Well, I'll leave it with this with clarification for Mr. Fence. He's missing the point on Amazon involvement. The idea is, does Amazon have a vested interest to make sure that Star Citizen succeeds as a game in order to propagate their game engine further?
And their
That's
servers.
the question. And their AWS service for hosting games. So that's the question. We'll leave you with that. You answer. It all depends on you.
And then we'll be back next week with
You
another
think?
show as usual. Hopefully, we'll all be on time.
Hopefully.
And
Allergies, man. I am all stuffy now.
Bye-bye.
I hate
See you
gotta
next
take a
time.
I
nap.
just hate you so much right now.
Where's Mitachi? Make sure that she gets her plane ticket in time. She got a
I
scheduled
support
vacation.
the monkeys. Do you? Check out The Base. 24/7
Really just gave
online
up.
radio. Visit
That's great.
us
Way to go.
at TheBase.sc. They're professionals.
That was good.